It's a Monday afternoon, and you are down to $400 in an account that held 11,000 90 days ago. And you are staring at the screen with your finger already on the buy button because there is a stock moving and you cannot stand to watch it move without you. You have taken 19 trades this week. You took 6 today. Not one of them was planned. Each one was a reaction, a flinch, a need to be inside the candle instead of watching it from the outside, and every reaction cost you a little more than the last, until 11,000 became 400, and the math stopped being a question of strategy and became a question of how many more days you get to call yourself a trader at all. You click buy. The position goes against you in 90 seconds. And you do the thing you always do. You tell yourself it will come back. You widen the stop in your head because there is no stop on the screen. And you watch $400 become $212 before you close it and sit in the silence of an empty account and an empty afternoon. That is the moment it ends, not with a decision to quit, but with a decision to stop pretending that what you have been doing is trading, because it is not trading, it is feeding something. And the thing you are feeding has eaten 3 accounts in 8 months and is still hungry. You fund the account one more time, $2,000, money you should not be risking, and you make a single rule that contradicts everything your nervous system is screaming at you. You will not take a trade for 30 days, unless it meets every condition on a checklist you write that night at the kitchen table, and the checklist is short and brutal and it disqualifies almost everything. You become a sniper, and a sniper's first skill is not shooting. It is the willingness to lie in the same position for hours while targets that are almost good enough walk past unharmed. Day 1 is the hardest day you have had as a trader, and nothing happens on it. Which is precisely why it is the hardest. The market opens and moves and offers you a dozen setups that are 70% of what you are waiting for. And 70% is exactly what destroyed you, because 70% wins often enough to keep you addicted and loses often enough to bleed you dry. You watch a stock run 12% without you, and the old voice says you are a coward, you are missing it. Real traders trade. And you sit on your hands and let the 12% happen to someone else. You write in a log that you did nothing today, and that doing nothing was correct, and you do not believe the second part yet. You are only writing it so that one day you might. By day 4, you have watched the market for 32 hours and taken 0 positions, and something strange is happening. You are starting to see the difference between a setup that is moving and a setup that is ready. 2 things you could never separate before, because you were always already in the trade by the time the question came up. You notice that the setups you would have taken on day 1 mostly failed, and you have a record of it now, because you logged every trade you did not take, and the log is becoming the most valuable document you own. A list of bullets you did not fire, and the targets that turned out to be mirages. On day 11 your discipline cracks, not all the way, but enough. A setup appears that is 85% of your checklist, and you feel the old pull, the certainty, this one is different, and you put your finger on the button and you hold it there for a full minute without clicking. 85% is not 100%. And the entire point of the 30 days is to find out whether you are a person who can tell the difference between 85 and 100 when there is money on the line, and you take your finger off the button, and you do not take the trade, and you log it, and the next morning that setup has fallen apart exactly the way the checklist predicted it would. That is the day the rule stops feeling like a punishment and starts feeling like a weapon. Because for the first time you have proof, documented, dated, undeniable proof that the trades you are not taking are the trades that would have killed you. And a sniper who trusts his discipline is a different animal than one who merely obeys it. By day 20 you have taken 2 trades, only 2 in 20 days, and both of them met every condition, and both of them worked, not spectacularly, but cleanly, the way a planned thing works. And the account that was 2,000 is now 2,400, and the number matters far less than how you got it, which was by waiting. You begin to understand the math you ignored for a year, that a trader who takes 4 perfect trades a month and wins 3 beats a trader who takes 100 mediocre trades and wins 55 every single time, because the perfect trades are sized with conviction, and the mediocre ones bleed you through fees and slippage and the slow erosion of taking the wrong thing over and over. The waiting is not the absence of trading, you finally see. The waiting is the trade. The position you hold for 28 days is a position in cash, and cash is a position, and refusing to deploy it is the most active decision you make all month. Day 30 arrives, and the perfect setup, the A+, the one the whole month was built around, has not appeared. And here is where the discipline is tested in a way you did not expect, because the rule said 30 days, and the 30 days are up, and there is a voice that says, "You have earned a trade now. You waited. You deserve to fire. Take something to mark the occasion." You do not. You extend the rule. You decide that the calendar does not produce setups. The market does. And you will wait 30 more days if that is what it takes. Because the moment you take a trade to reward yourself for waiting is the moment the waiting becomes meaningless. It is day 38 when it finally comes. Every condition on the checklist, the level, the volume, the time of day, the broader context, the risk-reward of nearly 4 to 1. And you have waited so long and watched so many imposters that when the real one arrives you almost do not trust it. You check the list twice, 3 times, and it holds. You size the position the way you never sized anything before, with the full conviction of a man who has fired 1 bullet in 5 weeks and knows exactly what he is aiming at. And you place the stop on the screen this time, a real stop, a number you will honor, because a sniper who will not accept a clean miss is just a gambler with better posture. The trade works, it works the way the textbook says it should, and you close it for a gain that is larger than any single trade in your entire losing career. And the strangest part is that you feel almost nothing. No rush, no shaking hands, just a quiet confirmation. Because the outcome was decided not in the 90 seconds of the trade, but in the 38 days of refusing everything that was not this. A year passes, and the discipline that began as a desperate rule has become the whole architecture of how you operate. You take, on average, 3 to 5 trades a month, and you turn away dozens. And your win rate has climbed, not because your entries got smarter, but because your filter got merciless. And the account that you nearly lost has grown in a way that the old you, the 19 trades a week you, never came close to. But the war is not won. It is only being managed, because the thing that ate 3 accounts is not dead. It is sleeping, and you feel it stir on the slow weeks, the weeks with no setups, when the boredom returns and whispers that surely 1 small trade would not hurt, that the rules are too strict, that you have proven yourself and can loosen the grip. Those are the dangerous weeks, more dangerous than any losing streak, because a losing streak keeps you sharp, and a quiet market makes you soft. And you have learned that the sniper does not die in the firefight. He dies on the long, peaceful afternoon, when he decides the discipline that saved him is no longer necessary. So you hold the line on the empty days. You log the trades you do not take. You let the 70% setups walk past unharmed. And you accept that this is not a problem you solve once, but a position you defend every single day for as long as you choose to do this. The patience and the hunger sitting across from each other at the same table. And your only job, the entire job, is to make sure the patience eats first.